to the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Jokes Gen X dads understand. Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, 90% of the time, are living proof of it. I'm turning 45 on Sunday, and I Googled famous people who died at 44 and 45 because obviously I have a healthy sense of self-esteem. Researching famous people who had larger followings and bigger homes and more possessions than I've ever had. And I'm not even famous yet. But I am very confident about the prospects of finding an agent, whether it be in Israel, Australia, England, France, Canada, America, that still has a smidgen of balls, who would like to support and embrace and celebrate and back the most grossly overlooked, heartwarming, hilarious shadow band comedian on this planet Earth. Can I get a holla for preaching the gospel a long time in Doodle Dad's honor and not giving 2 shits about talking myself in the third person? Holla! Thank you very much! Bam Bam Bigelow, dead, 44. Mr. Perfect, dead, 44. Nat King Cole, dead at 44. F. Scott Fitzgerald, dead at 44. Freddie Mercury, dead at 45. Walter Payton, sweetness, dead at 45. Those are some pretty momentous names, I know. And I just wanted to share that with you. I was thinking, well, I get some comedy out of this, but the reason why I wanted to share that with my audience is because I want to impart the message that whatever you want to do in this world that makes you most alive, do it. Because tomorrows are never guaranteed, even for sweetness. That being Walter Payton. So now whenever I run on my treadmill downstairs, I've had a nice streak that was interrupted last night because I was insisting on being Doodle Dad and making some homemade koshertarian chicken piccata, which was a smashing success. But then my daughter came in and said, Daddy, I just want to spend more time with you. And I would be a cold-hearted, narcissistic, completely wrapped up into myself prick for not taking that as a cue from God to take a time out from burning 400 calories on the treadmill so I could bottle my daughter and do some Mad Libs and play her a Milton Berle roast of Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is really funny stuff. The best line in that is he talks about Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dickie. It's like, I've seen you prick. Looks like Danny DeVito sleeping on 2 pillows. Hello! Thank you very much! That's actually the first time I've given a thank you very much in honor of another comedian's joke. Played some Jackie Mason for the kids this morning. It was blatantly awkward when their Gentile mommy came downstairs this morning. But as Green Day sings on American Idiot, I don't care. And it was funny, me having to explain some of the Polish jokes to Matilda. I said, so when Jackie Mason says, so I have this friend, he's half Polish, half German, he hates Jews, but doesn't know why, is because growing up, we would all read these truly tasteless joke books that had a bunch of like dumb Polish jokes, like this one that I remember, which was like a Polish guy like broke his leg from trying to rake the leaves on top of his tree or something like that. But it didn't sound bad. Got a laugh out of me. So I'm really excited for my 45th. I'm going to be in Manhattan. Don't really want to advertise my exact location. Don't want Antifa taking me out just yet. But going to give the kids a boat tour of the big city, and going to take them to Chelsea Piers. So we do some bowling, do some rock climbing, and I'm going to this kosher sushi restaurant in honor of the Kosherian comedian being complete, which is a story about my divine power quest to get my kids excited about giving the Kosherian diet a chance. So I'm sending out query letters right now to literary agents at large, and I'm getting very into the process of making sure my chapter samples are as tight as can be without spending a fucking another grand on an editor so they could do spell check for me and really making an effort to personalize my cover letters so they don't come across too overtly spamish. As much as I want to make fun of Amazon for blatant censorship, for example, I had this great review from this woman in India, and for the Great American Jew Novel, I don't even see it. I googled the Great American Jew Novel. The image is barred, but you could Google Mein Kampf on Amazon and get a bunch of images, a bunch of reviews, and a bunch of cum stains from Babyface Omar, some screenshots on her freaking iPhone to capture the juices of joy whenever she reads another chapter from Mein Kampf. As she giggles to herself, nothing happens. That's what Mel Gibson's father said. Holla! Thank you very much! So, I do have an editor who gave me a sterling review for the Great American Jew Novel in the Midwest Book Review. And she's editing my collection of flash fiction short stories. Waste of height. Really short stories. Now, I will profess my love for her if she gives me an update tomorrow on my birthday. I pointed out that my birthday was April 18th. So if I'm her, you want more business, I talked to her about editing the Kosherian Comedian 2, which would be another grand, then I would think it'd be in her best interest to give me a little ball tickle in rapid succession tomorrow in the form of multiple compliments, proclaiming this is going to be a huge hit. Thank you for thinking of me. You are the most grossly overlooked Shadowman comedian on this planet. There actually are some proud, tough Jewish agents left that love Jackie Mason just for his awesome rat-tat timing in addition to his stalwart defense of Israel, who doesn't go out of the way to demonize Israel for its right to defend itself whenever 8,000 rockets are sent into its backyard. Not expecting them to send the terrorists in charge of Palestine a edible gift basket in return with a thank you note written in Farsi. Holla! Thank you very much! So I'm going to perform a very special chapter from my star-studded A-plus gem-reloaded collection of short stories, Weights of Height, very short stories. And this is my closer. And it's called Pitch Woman of the Year in honor of my firstborn, Grace in Motion, Female Flash, aka Singing Rose Kornbluth, my precious Beshert, Matilda Shoshana Kornbluth. This one's for you. And I had this great conversation with her yesterday where I read an article. I'm a freaking idiot. I started reading articles on Breitbart and Gateway Pundit again. It was totally stupid. And I read an article about this guy who wrote an article about stopping the steal, election integrity, blah, blah, blah. And he, of course, got his book banned from Amazon. So the double standard is obviously sickening, knowing that, Mein Kampf, they allow that on there, no problem whatsoever. Some person writes a book critical of trans gender, blatantly premature, child-approved, genital mutilation before they're actually able to come in contact with their post-puberty developing sexuality. Perhaps he made a point about potential buyer's remorse when you're on the dance floor at the China Club because you can't get into any other club in the city because you don't have any rich shitty friends to hook you up, and you're behind some chesty Latina. She's got a fairly tight dress on, and you want to grind behind her, and then all of a sudden you are experiencing a surge of buyer's remorse because you are missing a missing link to your surging manhood that wants to get its groove on to Rump Shaker from behind, yet you are unable to flex that surging surge of testosterone because Hollywood and the media and social media made that lonely, confused kid the idea that, well, you could be really happy if you just cut off your genital and come play for the other team, and all will be good. And I have no idea like what else that transgender book. I mean, this my problem with. First off, okay, the thing with transgender sports is, I mean, it's obviously an unfair uh, playing field. I mean, anyone with an honest freaking molecule in their body like would admit that. And also, like my major beef is that you talk about the differences, and the way I see it is that Cheryl, now Steve, if is allowed to compete in track and field with my daughter in high school, Steve is just gonna piss on the toilet seat like before. So how much does he identify with being a girl? Well, actually, if you're a girl and then you come out as a guy, let me get this straight. This is so confusing. I'm going to keep it simple. My daughter says, "Daddy, what's transgender?" I said, "Let me keep it simple, Matilda. Transgender is someone that's gay about dressing up in girls' clothing." And then my daughter says, "So does that mean Shakespeare's a guy? Because he used to dress up, like girls in all of his plays." And I said, "I don't know about Shakespeare being transgender, but I do know for a fact that Kevin Spacey is gay about lunging at Othello backstage in tights." Holla! Thank you very much! And this is my impersonation of Jeffrey Tambor, who was in Transparent, played a transgender character. This is my impersonation of Jeffrey Tambor ripping his fellow real-life trans co-star for pissing on the toilet seat in his trailer again. Jeffrey Tambor says, "Real ladylike. Now, get out of my trailer, you butchy bitch. Hey now. Thank you very much." Gary Shandling lives. Holla. Thank you very much. So, I'm going to get to this performance of Pitch Room of the Year. But the last thing I wanted to mention was my daughter. And I told her about how, "Matilda, I'm beginning to have severe doubts about any literary agent having the balls to represent me." Not that I really consider myself that controversial, but my material that I talk about does criticize big tech. It does criticize the lying manipulative media. It does criticize the fact that the Democratic Party has become the rape enablement party. And I do make comments such as "the day democracy died." So I have also written pieces such as "Dr. Seuss is Tony Robbins for Kids," where I go after the insane, preposterous premise that Dr. Seuss was racist because he drew a cartoon illustration for kids of an African wearing a grass skirt. At the same time, I didn't know FUBU was in fashion yet. Holla! Thank you very much! I've also made comments such as, if Nike like really cared about, advancing the African American population in this country, they'd get fake news pro Colin Kaepernick to star in a public service announcement that campaign that simply said, just stop resisting arrest. And thug lives matter, don't matter most. Holla! Thank you very much! So as you can see, this is not material that is going to get me on any late night comedy show ever. So, it would take an agent with some chutzpah. I hate to say chutzpah, just a fucking backbone to represent me. So I had this conversation with my daughter, and she says, so I said, listen, I just want you to mentally prepare yourself for the fact that daddy is going to have to get like a job if I don't get an agent from these books, and there's a strong possibility that's not going to happen, despite the huge, awesome reception all this material's gotten on my podcast, SoundCloud, my WordPress blog. I love you all. And then my daughter says yesterday, she says, Daddy, and this is after the school day, she comes to my room and I'm sending career letters, and she says, Daddy, I've mentally prepared myself for getting a real job, but I don't think you're going to have to, because I have a really good feeling you're going to get an agent. And these are the moments that Be Short made dreams are made of. And a Beshert, I didn't say it right the first time, is Hebrew for soulmate. So, in my Great American Jew novel, my 9-year-old daughter plays my self-appointed talent agent to save my failing, faltering marriage, an attempt to make my do-it-all dad year come true. So that's a great book that I recommend you checking out on Amazon, because it's not going to be up there much longer. Once I get a freaking agent, I am getting everything off Amazon. I hate Amazon. Jeff Bezos, he left his wife. He's with this woman who, she's a hot Latino. She looks like a tranny too. Again, I think trannies are hot. Thea's so nothing against trannies over here. And you can't call me, transphobic? If I'd rather suck off Caitlyn Jenner with no makeup on, that being her with no makeup on. If I had to go to the Lego store one more time with my kids after the coast was clear, all with masks on, feeling like Michael Jackson on holiday in Bahrain. Doing my best to program my kids to make sure that they identify with the Shah of Iran's wives on Bravo. Holla! Thank you very much! So, I love you, God, for giving me Matilda Signor's Cornbooth. She is my original star comedy bud before her two younger brothers. The other co-sharing comedians in the making. That being Arthur, Archo USA, Cornbluth, and Samuel. Chosen Curls was bound to woo! Cornbluth. My lucky number 3. So, thank you, God. And I really want an agent, God, so I can get into the Adam Sandler Golden Jew funny making business already. Holla! Thank you very much! So let's get to it. Pitchwoman of the Year. Aliens are capable of formulating and defending their own critical race theory too. Although a bunch of think tank alien eggheads from Planet Scrambled Over Easy declared the American dream dead and its entire race plain stupid for thinking otherwise, on both sides of the political divide, during its annual Brunch Expo address at their annual Northern Lights retreat on Planet Verde, known for its enormous avocado trees. Tricked out, converted, farmhouse party palaces enveloped by hop farms galore and beautifully manicured baseball diamonds and fields of highly stimulating, brain-tickling weed. Even think tank alien eggheads need to cool off their hyperactive brains with some baseball buds and brews from time to time. And on a side note, I've always said that the use of steroids in baseball, as far as them impacting a player's improved performance, has been a tad overblown. Because if I took performance enhancing drugs when I was shipped off to sleepaway camp every year in Kent, Connecticut, being the second worst athlete after the Sheik's son from Great Neck, if I took performance enhancing drugs back then, I just would have struck out at a more accelerated speed. Holla! Thank you very much! The think tank Alien Eggheads observed how unhinged and excessively biased the U.S. media and big tech had become since the New Yorker from Queens, Blowhard Blondie, exposed them for the feckless, misleading, self-serving, fear-mongering, deliberately divisive, commie-sella bastards they'd become. Close Encounters of the Third Kind was voted the number one ranked sci-fi film for 44 years in a row and counting, according to Egghead Alien Film Review magazine, which still boasts an incredible print ad sales revenue because on Planet Scrambled Easy, print is king and considered the most prestigious medium, attracting the universe's most talented writers, knowing they're willing to pay up to $3 per word. Plus, there's no TV shows made on Planet Scrambled over Easy, except a hugely popular father-son alien cooking show called Better Than Booby. On this show, we learn the alien baby is a result of a mixed marriage between an alien and a busty, full-lipped, tan, Sicilian-blooded Italian Barbara Bustiasti. Holla! Thank you very much! Originally hailing from Rochester, New York. On the show, our stay-at-home alien dad host, Fried Brains Bourdain, a self-anointed in-house gourmand for the entire Planet Scrambled over Easy, will ask his part human, part alien baby, Chef Samuels, what he thinks of his latest and greatest Leo Scramble Supreme, including smoked salmon lox, scrambled eggs, and sweet, not too bitter, caramelized red onions, which sharply contrasts the sockeye salmon that my mother-in-law tries to pass off as a high-end delicacy, pretending that she likes Jews whenever I visit Delaware, which doesn't happen anymore because that's Joe Biden country, where Hunter Biden still frequents an occasional dive towny bar, only hearing last call from the bathroom stall. Holla! Thank you very much! Normally, Chef Samuels will taste a sampling of his stay-at-home comedian alien dad's latest and greatest dish and pronounce whether the dish creation was a double fister or a yuck yucker. Holla! Thank you very much! But if Baby Samuels is totally enthralled with the dish, he'll ask his cherished Dada Fried Brains Bourdain to make the dish for him every day before he whizzes around the rings of Planet Scrambled over Easy, faster than Flash in a high-calorie, burning blaze of glory. Bon Jovi lives! Holla! Thank you very much! So the reason Planet Scrambled Eggs over Easy was smitten with the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind stemmed from the aliens portrayed in it being musical savant mutes of sorts, like Holly Hunter in The Piano. The problem on Planet Scrambled Eggs over Easy is how the recent open borders policy resulted in a gazillion different languages spoken at once on any given farmer's market, enough to make C-3PO's language transmitter chip to melt down from an intergalactic mere auditory sensory processing overload. George Lucas lives pre-woke Star Wars. They ruin everything. Holla! Thank you very much! So the clamor in the streets had reached a fevered pitch with no universal language in place, capable of instilling a more melodic cadence, and none of the Star Magazine writers on Planet Scramble Over Easy were capable of banging out musical show tunes such as West Side Think Tank Alien Stories because Broadway tunesmith legend Stephen Stottenheim declined the invitation to procreate with the alien civilization because he was gayer about the prospect of lunging at Othello backstage in tights whenever asked to do his best Kevin Spacey impersonation by his cast and crew at Sardi's for wrap-up show celebrations, after hours. Holla for getting ultra mileage out of that A+ Kevin Space Othello lunging line for the ages. Holla! Thank you very much! Stephen Sondheim gave the anal probe a shot after the alien think tank leader, Gershwin Gu, convinced him they were doing it in the name of stool DNA sampling science and their long, hard, in-depth exploration of pinpointing the exact genetic makeup roots responsible for sprouting such mature musical genius out of the womb. At 6, Mozart was touring Europe, entertaining French nobles with the nimble quickness of a French prostitute who got 2 customers to spew with over-the-top joy in 1 minute flat each so she could squeeze in her favorite customer, famed American Jewish writer Henry Miller, in one more time before closing hours. For the road! Frank Sinatra and Henry Miller lives. Holla! Thank you very much! So not only was the roaring decibel of noise on the streets of Scrambled Eggs Over Easy consisting of every guttural, gross, alien language imaginable that collectively heard together sounded like the antithesis of French pillow talk in Eric Rohmer films, such as Busted Burgundy Girls and Paris Dicks Are Burning. Holla! Thank you very much! Thereby making their home planet a highly grating, excessively annoying place to be. But there is also not a single lone beautifying voice to even sing their new planet anthem in an attempt to promote, celebrate, and unify the country behind a star-beautiful voice in their own native tongue, Hebrew. What, you think the pyramids and the first great temple were built by the Israelites alone? I've known Jews who are allergic to Home Depot who suffer from immediate panic attacks upon entry on the spot. Holla! Jackie Mason lives. He's still alive, but that's for you, buddy. Holla! Thank you very much! On the treat. The think tank aliens sucking down endless IPAs and puffing non-stop high-grade green over a killer doubleheader baseball surrounding the Field of Dreams Funhouse. A young rising star egghead about to pitch his famous speedball splinter, known to make most fellow aliens whiff more than Charlie Sheen at an avian after-hours party these days. An idea emerged. Hey fellas, instead of blowing up planet Earth for our annual 4th of July celebration to celebrate our freedom from banning the internet in 2000, because we knew Y2K would serve as a slow-acting bomb to blow up Earth's any last remaining capacity for critically thinking, mass-produced, independent thought ever again, we convinced Matilda Singing Rose Cornblue to become our permanent in-house planetary anthem singer. Granted, we have incredible leverage, knowing if she refuses, we'll go ahead and blow up Earth for the best fireworks show we've ever seen. Bulldozing a casino is child's play compared to planet blasting. Plus, I think the universe is ready for a new Earth to emerge. Again, assuming God's in the mood to give the human race another shot at redemption. Or not. Although I'm doubting his will very much these days. Holla! Thank you very much! At saving Earth, that is. Or believing it's beyond, or believing it's still capable of pennant fueled redemption. Holla! Thank you very much! The think tank aliens of Scramble Over Easy Planet actually thought of Singing Rose Cornblue immediately, the moment they coined the idea of establishing a planetary anthem in Hebrew, from eavesdropping from space whenever she'd recite the Shabbat prayers over the Shabbat candles, otherwise known as the Shabbos candles, and of course as she'd recite the Shabbat prayers over the Challah, and wine too. To them, Singing Rose Kornbluth was blessed with the most angelic, lace, beautifying, spiritually rich, jade-free voice of all time, which sounded 10 times more soul-tantalizing, pretty sung in the language of kings, Hebrew, which she do in synagogue, shining through most. Whenever the Torah was taken out of the ark for the infamous Shema prayer, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." Think tank aliens from Scrambled Over Easy Planet are able to eavesdrop into different galaxy systems due to their alien race being crossbred with alien hybrid elephants reared by Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great would use those elephants to eavesdrop on his enemies, or on Cleopatra next time she plotted to roofie him, tie him up, and jam some precious gemstone beads up his ass for shits and giggles to see if they came out looser since the last gender-neutral inter-kingdom orgy at her Luxor party palace resumed. Holla! Thank you very much! Now, Singing Rose Kornbluth is at home in her bedroom in the hamlet of Croton Falls, New York, 50 minutes north of Manhattan, brushing the mane on her new American Girl horse doll, Lavender Love, singing her own made-up tune. Lavender Love has beautiful hair. My brother Arthur better not threaten to turn him into fake news dog chow if baby Samuel double dares. Then the Palomino, American Girl doll horse, Lavender Love, comes to life and speaks to her from the baseball diamond on the Field of Dreams Funhouse and says, "Singing Rose Kornbluth, don't be alarmed. For starters, my voice can't be any freakier than when you confuse your American Girl doll horse for an actual little person on occasion when you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night." Singing Rose Kornbluth says, "Keep talking." Think Tank Alien replies, "We think your singing voice, especially in Hebrew, is the most beautiful, God-loving, effortlessly sweet singing voice you've ever heard, without any deep vibrato rumblings which ruin Adele and Demi Lovato's chances as potential picks for us, if you really need to know." Singing Rose Kornbluth says, "And who is we exactly?" Think Tank Alien says, "We're think tank aliens from planet Scrambled Over Easy. Our natural tongue is Hebrew, and we just came up with our first ever planetary anthem, and it needs work because our alien civilization isn't musically inclined whatsoever." Singing Rose Kornbluth says, "Do all aliens talk through American Girl horses?" I knew aliens were real, and I wasn't freaking out for a reason. I knew aliens were real, and I knew I was freaking out for a real reason. Think Tank Alien says, "Singing Rose, we love your voice. God made your supernatural voice for a reason. Still, we'll be left with no choice but to blow up your planet if you don't let us use your gift of creation and talent for singing love songs, which touch the innermost sanctum part of the divine." Singing Rose Kornbluth says, "I'll only help you out if you agree to take over control of our internet and unleash virus worms to corrode all the software code for Twitter, Facebook, and Google, and fill in that gaping voice of internet bandwidth with my father's Do It All Daddy podcast every Friday for another meandering Shabbat Shalom special. My daddy is hilarious. He said Beyonce sat at the national anthem because Demi Lovato sounds like white privilege. Let's try this again. Be patient with me, Egghead Alien. He said Beyonce sat at the national anthem because Demi Lovato sounds like the white privilege version of Alabama Shakes. Holla! Thank you very much! Think Tank Alien laughs long time and replies, "We don't have the internet on our planet." Matilda says, "I'll be your new best friend. And you'll get one sleepover invite a year. Deal?" Think Tank Alien says with immediate glee, "Deal." 1 year later, Singing Rose Kornbluth graced the cover of Time magazine. On the top, the headline read, "Pitchwoman of the Year, who saved her country's planet from being wiped off the solar system for selling the think tank aliens are making her do-it-all dad the most popular, downloadable, highly quotable podcaster in the universe." So he could afford the opportunity to shine like the brightest rising comedy star in the galaxy and drive his family back from the hospital in his new comedy gold Porsche SUV with a new baby sister addition in the back, Lavender Love Cornbluth, to make his doodle daddier mission complete. Now, Singing Rose Cornbluth could sing duets with her new baby sister, Lavender Love Cornbluth, for a double dose of beautiful wonderfulness on Planet Scrambled Eggs over easy, so she never have to feel homesick ever again.